What if the reason you don't feel confident is because you've misunderstood what confidence really means? Most people think confidence is something you either have or don't, a natural feeling that shows up when you're good at something. But what if that idea is completely wrong? What if confidence isn't a feeling at all? What if it's a skill, something you build, like learning to cook or drive a car or speak English? That changes everything. It means you don't have to wait until you feel ready. You can build your confidence, step by step, action by action, starting today. In this episode, we're going to challenge the old myths about confidence. We'll explain the truth about what it really is. And I'll show you 5 powerful tools you can use to build it, even when you're afraid. This isn't just about vocabulary or grammar. This is about how you think, how you speak, how you live. So if you're shadowing me today, get ready. You're not just learning English. You're learning how to become the kind of person who tries, who grows, and who shows up, even when life feels messy. And before we dive in, leave a comment and tell me, what's one thing you've been afraid to try, but want to? Say it out loud. Write it down. Prove to yourself that you're ready to start building real confidence, one small step at a time. Now, let's dive in. What does confidence really mean? Confidence is not magic. It's not something you're born with. And it's not something only successful people have. Confidence is simply the willingness to try. That's it. It's not about being sure that everything will go perfectly. It's about being willing to take the first step, even if the result is unknown. When you think of confidence this way, it becomes something anyone can build, including you. It means you don't have to wait until you feel brave. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be willing. That willingness to show up, to speak, to act, even with fear, is what grows your self-trust. So next time you think, I'm not confident, ask yourself instead, am I willing to try? If the answer is yes, then you are already building the confidence you're looking for. Every time you take a small risk, you're developing the skill of confidence. The same way you practice English or build a new habit. Why do so many people get confidence wrong? Many people believe confidence is about being loud, being social, or never feeling nervous. But that's a myth. You don't need to be extroverted to be confident. You don't need to be the best in the room. Confidence doesn't mean being fearless. It means acting, even when you feel fear. In fact, some of the most confident people in the world are quiet. They listen more than they speak. But when they do speak, they speak clearly, calmly, with purpose. That's what real confidence looks like. Not performance, but presence. So if you've ever thought, I'm too quiet or I get nervous too easily, that doesn't mean you can't be confident. It just means you've been measuring it the wrong way. Confidence isn't about showing off. It's about showing up with honesty, courage, and calm. Can you lose your confidence? People often say things like, I used to be confident, but I lost it. But the truth is, confidence isn't something you lose like your phone or wallet. It's a skill, which means it can get stronger with practice and weaker without it. So if you feel like your confidence has disappeared, maybe you just haven't used it in a while. Think of it like exercise. If you stop moving your body for months, your muscles get weaker. But that doesn't mean you're broken. It just means you need to start again, slowly, step by step. The same is true with confidence. You don't need to go back to the past. You just need to take action now in the present. That's the power of seeing confidence as a skill. It gives you control. You can rebuild it. You can strengthen it. And you don't need to wait for permission. Why is action the foundation of confidence? Confidence doesn't start in your head. It starts with movement. You can read books, think deeply, make plans, but unless you take action, nothing changes. Confidence is built through doing, not just thinking. Every time you take a small step, even a scary one, your brain records that moment. It says, "Look, I did that. I survived. I handled it." That's how you start trusting yourself, not because things go perfectly, but because you're learning that you can handle the outcome, whatever it is. This is why the 5-second rule works so well, because action kills overthinking. Action makes your mind focus on the task instead of your fear. So remember this: the longer you wait, the more doubt grows. But the moment you act, confidence starts to form. What is the 5-second rule? The 5-second rule is one of the simplest, most powerful tools for taking action. When you have an idea, speak, move, raise your hand, you count down from 5, like this: 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, and you act. You don't think. You don't wait. You move. Why does this work? Because your brain likes comfort. It wants to protect you. If you wait more than a few seconds, your mind will come up with reasons not to act. What if I fail? What if I look stupid? But if you move fast, you bypass that fear. It's like jumping into a cold pool. The longer you stand there thinking about it, the harder it gets. But if you just count down and jump, you're in. That's how the 5-second rule works. It's not about being perfect. It's about moving. Before fear wins. Why does confidence require discomfort? Let's be honest. Doing something new is uncomfortable. Speaking up, making a mistake, trying something hard, all of it can feel scary. But confidence doesn't come from avoiding discomfort. It comes from walking through it. That's why trying things that scare you, just a little, is how you grow. Discomfort is not a sign that something's wrong. It's a sign that something's changing. And that's a good thing. The goal isn't to feel great all the time. The goal is to feel strong even when you're unsure. So next time you feel nervous or uncertain, don't run. Stay. Breathe. Try. That's how confidence is built. Not in the easy moments, but in the hard ones when you choose to keep going anyway. What is imposter syndrome? And why does everyone feel it? Imposter syndrome is the belief that you're not good enough, even if you are. You might think, I don't belong here, or I'm just lucky, or people will find out I'm not really good. But those thoughts, they're not facts, they're fear. Even the most successful people feel like imposters sometimes. Writers, teachers, doctors, actors. It doesn't matter. When you grow, your mind will sometimes doubt you. It's normal. But just because you feel like a fraud doesn't mean you are one. In fact, imposter syndrome is often a sign that you're stretching, learning, growing. You're doing something new. And your brain hasn't caught up yet. So instead of fighting that feeling, notice it and remind yourself, this is just a signal. It means I'm stepping up. Can you still act even when you feel fear? Yes, and that's actually the definition of confidence. Acting with fear is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. Confidence doesn't mean you're never afraid. It means you choose to move forward despite fear. You can feel nervous and speak. You can feel unsure and try. Fear doesn't have to stop you. In fact, the more often you act with fear, the less control it has over you. Your courage grows. Your confidence expands. So don't wait to feel ready. That moment may never come. Instead, say to yourself, I'm scared, and I'm doing it anyway. That's the real confidence muscle you want to build. What does it mean to reframe failure? Failure doesn't mean you're not good enough. It doesn't mean you're broken. It simply means you tried something and didn't get the result you wanted. That's all. Failure is part of every learning journey. In English, in business, in life. But many of us were taught to fear it, to avoid it, to think it means we're not capable. But what if we changed that idea? What if failure wasn't something to fear, but something to use? Every time you fail, you learn. You discover what doesn't work. You find a better way. You become stronger. That's called reframing, changing how you see something so it becomes helpful, not harmful. When you see failure as feedback, your confidence doesn't break when things go wrong. Instead, you grow, you adjust, you move forward, smarter and stronger than before. How can you become more objective? When emotions take over, it's hard to see clearly. You might panic, freeze, feel overwhelmed. But confidence grows when you learn to step back, to become more objective, more balanced, more calm. One great tool for this is mental distance. Pretend you're watching someone else. Ask, if this was my friend, what would I say to them? Or, what would the strong version of me do here? That shift in perspective helps you make better choices, not based on fear, but based on values. You're not ignoring your emotions. You're managing them. You're guiding your focus rather than letting anxiety take control. That's what strong, confident people do. They feel, but they don't let those feelings stop them from acting wisely. What is an alter ego? And how does it help? An alter ego is like a superhero version of you. It's not fake. It's focused. It's who you are when your fears step aside and your strength steps forward. Imagine walking into a room not as the nervous version of yourself, but as your bold, clear, grounded self. What would that version say? How would they stand? What would they believe? Actors do this. Athletes do this. Even public speakers do this. They create a mental identity, one that carries their strength. You can do this too. Pick a name, an energy, a posture. Step into it before a big conversation or presentation. Over time, that version of you won't just be pretend. It will become your reality. Because the more you act like that person, the more you become them. Why does preparation build confidence? Have you ever walked into a situation unprepared and felt frozen? That's what a lack of preparation feels like. It steals your focus. But when you're prepared, something amazing happens. Your mind becomes calm. Your confidence feels real. Because you know, I've done the work. I'm ready. Preparation gives your brain proof. It builds trust. It turns nervous energy into performance energy. Whether you're speaking in English, going to a job interview, or sharing your opinion, preparation is power. And it's not just about big moments, even small daily habits. Practicing vocabulary, shadowing a video, reading aloud, they add up. You build knowledge. And with knowledge comes confidence. So never skip the work, because the work is what shapes the strength. Why should you focus on yourself, not others? When you compare yourself to others, confidence dies. You start thinking, they're better than me. Or, I'll never get there. But here's the truth. You're on your own path. Your journey is not the same as anyone else's. Confidence comes from focusing on your own growth, not other people's highlight reels. Instead of watching what everyone else is doing, ask yourself, what's one small thing I can improve today? That's where progress lives, not in perfection, but in personal progress, in small wins, in daily steps. Every time you compare, you lose energy, but every time you focus inward, you gain power. So shift the focus from them to you, from noise to growth. How does social media affect your confidence? Social media can be inspiring, but it can also be damaging. You see perfect bodies, perfect lives, perfect skills, and it makes you feel behind. But remember, what you see is not the full story. You're seeing filters, edits, highlights, not real life. Confidence suffers when your mind is full of comparison, so protect it. Curate your environment. Follow people who inspire you in real, honest ways. Unfollow people who make you feel less than. Your mental health matters, and your confidence grows in spaces that are safe, positive, and true. Also, take breaks. Put the phone down. Live in your own moment. Sometimes the best thing for your confidence is to return to real life and reconnect with yourself. Why is consistent effort more important than talent? Many people think talent builds success, but that's only part of the truth. Yes, some people have natural gifts, but those gifts mean nothing without consistent effort. Confidence isn't built in one big moment. It's built over time, through tiny daily actions, through choosing to try again and again. Think of anyone you admire, a speaker, a leader, a coach. Behind that confident performance is years of quiet effort, showing up on the hard days, practicing when no one is watching. That's where real power comes from. So don't worry about being the best. Be the most consistent. Confidence follows those who stay in motion, even when progress feels slow. How do small wins build real confidence? You don't need huge success to feel confident. Sometimes the smallest wins are the most powerful. Finishing a book, saying a full sentence in English, waking up on time. These may seem tiny, but they're proof. Proof that you are making progress, that you are showing up. Each time you follow through, even in a small way, your brain records that success. You start to believe in yourself. That belief is what creates real, grounded confidence, not the fake kind that depends on likes or applause. So don't wait for a big moment to feel proud. Create those moments daily. Let the little wins pile up. One by one, they'll change how you see yourself. How can you build confidence in English speaking? You might think, I'll speak when I'm fluent. But confidence doesn't come after fluency. It comes before it. You build fluency by speaking even when it's messy, even when you make mistakes. That's how you grow. That's how you improve. Confidence in English comes from using the language in real situations, with real people, with real effort. Don't wait until you feel perfect. That moment may never come. Start now. Say one sentence, then another. Ask questions. Listen actively. Every time you speak, you're training two things, your language and your courage. And over time, those two things grow together. So speak, even if it's imperfect. That's how you get better. That's how confidence builds. Why does your self-talk matter? The way you talk to yourself creates your inner world. If you constantly say, I can't do this, or I always mess up, your brain starts to believe it. That becomes your inner voice, and your inner voice shapes your outer behavior. But here's the good news. You can change that voice. Start saying, I'm learning, or I'm trying, or this is hard, but I can figure it out. These phrases might seem small, but they're powerful. They're fuel for your mindset. Confidence grows in a kind environment, especially inside your own head. So speak to yourself like someone you care about, someone you want to see win. That's how your confidence becomes solid and sustainable. So what does real confidence look like? Real confidence isn't loud. It's not a show. It's quiet, steady, calm. It's the inner belief that you can try, and that trying is enough. It's not about having all the answers. It's about trusting yourself to figure